Not even High Desert Museum founder Don Kerr could have predicted back in 1982 that a patch of donated land, a lot of elbow grease, and a small but strong band of supporters who shared his vision would yield this highly polished gem set in rough and rugged terrain. But there's so much more to this place than the structures themselves. The High Desert Museum is alive, pulsing, breathing, and in its 32 years has grown into a world-class regional museum, one that could stand proud in any major city.
See how it gets bigger and bigger?
On any given day, you can see the museum's mission come to life, and it's in the faces of children at camp, it's in a school group marching through the forest, measuring trees, it's in a living history experience where kids are really connecting to history and that it comes alive.
At the museum, learning is organic. Through camps, exhibits, and encounters, both animal and human, connections are being made, creating a new generation of stewards of the high desert.
Can you see how fast you can do it?
Doug Hermanson has been bringing his daughters Holly and Casey here for 4 years.
Awesome.
Casey attends kids camp, and Holly is a teen volunteer.
It's been a tremendous experience for Holly and for us to watch her grow. It's given her confidence, and it's given her a feeling that she can do some things that she wasn't sure she could do.
The teen volunteers that we're starting to cultivate are already deeply invested in the museum, already invested in our mission and the environment because they've been at camp for so many years.
More than 10,000 school kids come through the doors each year, in addition to 155,000 other visitors. Here, connections to the wildlife and landscape of the high desert are being passed down through generations.
Children that came here in the 80s are now bringing their kids back. Parents who brought their kids in the 80s are now bringing their grandchildren here.
For some of our special visitors, the large crowds that come during peak season can pose a challenge. Wendy Andrick's daughter Maya is legally blind and has cerebral palsy.
It was very difficult to get a little nook for any extended period of time so she could absorb and appreciate what the exhibits had to offer.
Wendy spoke with museum staff about the problem and helped create a solution. It's called Museum and Me.
What it has evolved into very organically is an after-hours program when the museum is quiet and kids and their families and special friends have the museum to themselves.
If you like sparkly, that's one thing we don't have in common.
I was blown away with the reception that they had, which was not only to create a time and space, not that worked for them, but that worked for the children and the families. They also offered it as a free opportunity for families that might not have the means to have yet one more expense, and just offered it as a free, intimate experience.
But he's kind of cute when he eats.
It's incredible, the things that she has seen and experienced. She loves coming here now, we both do.
Kids, young and old, experience history by interacting with characters from the past. They learn about the Old West from people like Mrs. Miller, who might even teach them a thing or two about doing their chores.
Now you can haul double the water.
Then there's freight agent Frank Graham, who worked these parts in 1904. It's characters like these who truly bring history to life.
We don't know who we touch. And some of those kids will have an epiphany 10 years from now, and they'll say, gosh, I remember doing that at the High Desert Museum 10 years ago. That's what they were talking about. That's really cool. I want to know more about that.
Making those connections is what the High Desert Museum is all about. By connecting people to the history, landscape, and wildlife of the high desert, we're helping them develop a love of learning, a love of nature, a sense of place, and an appreciation of all this very special place has to offer.